Team JNC, YCS, Anaheim. Who are we here with?
Jib, what's up everybody? Today I got 29th place at YCS Anaheim. I know, not a real top, not a top 8, blah blah blah. I understand and I agree. But but I am still gonna do a profile for the channel. I finished 11-3. Two of my losses were to Draco Tail, which this deck just loses to sometimes. And then my third loss was, we're not gonna talk about that, but yeah, I got a unfortunate game loss into a swift 1-0 from my opponent. But he didn't top either, so you know, the win went to nothing basically. But yeah, so I played Mitsu this weekend. I played 3 copies of Marshmallow. He's the new guy. He's broken. I like his little smile. 3 copies of Cupsy, 2 copies of Cookie, and 1 copy of Lolly. 1 copy of Lolly. These are all the yummy names that I played. I didn't feel like you needed to play more in this variant. I feel like a lot of people play like 1 and 1. I wanted to play 1 more. I'll let you know, I didn't play Prosperity. I thought Prosperity wasn't very good in this deck because a lot of the extra deck pieces end up coming up later in the combo or like in grind games. I already feel like this deck's grind game is suspicious, but like, yeah, I didn't want to play a card like Prosperity, banish half my extra deck, and it will come up later. For the Mitsurugi part, played 3 copies of Habakiri, 1 copy of Amino, 1 copy of Saji. This is it for the Mitsurugi monsters. I mean, this engine, I'm not gonna lie, carried. It's so broken. This is my first time ever playing Mitsurugi cards at a major event, and yo, this card is a card of all time. Like, he's broken. Like, shout out to Master Duel. They get this card next weekend. Like, have fun. Yeah, so 3 of that. 3 copies of Pre-Prep. 1 copy of Mirror. Some lists don't play this. I played it. It was cool. Just extra consistency. You really want to see how the carry, it bridges both engines. Then 3 copies of Prayers, obviously, and then 1 copy of Mitsurugi Ritual. Shout out to Paul for letting me actually use the card, but also shout out to Nick the Dick Cobbs for sending me 3 more Mitsurugi Ritual because I was thinking about playing 3 and like a heavier Mitsu package, and I promised him a shout out. For the non-engine, 3 copies of Fua, 3 copies of Ash. These are not my Ash, but yeah, the judge told me to change them. 3 copies of Bell. I felt like these were just like the 6 best hand traps. I guess 9 best, right? Ash and Fua are just broken. Ash is broken because it stops Fua, and it just has good interactions right now. Same thing with Bell. Against a lot of the decks, Bell functions as an Ash Blossom, but it also functions as like an impulse in certain scenarios against cards like Surprise, the Yummy Synchros, Prayers. Mitsurugi Monsters of Grave is pretty solid. So that's it for the hand traps that I played. I played a half and half build. I played some breakers. I played 3 copies of Super Poly. This was, in my opinion, the card of the weekend. Shout out to Lucas Shako behind me. I did some work with him and some other people. But yeah, this card was broken. I'm really happy that I played it. The only thing that this card made weird was the extra deck space, but I think that the benefits of this card outweighed the extra deck restrictions. The cards that you miss really only come up in really specific scenarios, like Nibiru, like you miss Link Spider, but I didn't expect to play against a lot of decks that played Nibiru, so it didn't really matter for me, but that also kind of led to my downfall, because my 2 losses were to Draco Tail, and that deck main deck's 3 nips, so I lost in those scenarios. 3 copies of Droplets. This could have been Dark Ruler or Metaltronus. I was too afraid to main deck Metaltronus. I felt like there would be a wide field, and I did play against a fair bit of different decks, so I was happy with this. Then I played 1 copy of Kobai. You can argue whether this is engine or non-engine. It's just a very good card. And then the last 2 cards in the deck are the 2 yummy engine requirements, 1 minion and 1 copy of Surprise. These cards are fine. For the extra deck, played 3 copies of Snatchy, 1 Cupsy Way, 1 Lolly Way, 1 Cookie Way, 1 Samsara Sarakat. You play this instead of Marcher. It bridges better with the Mitsurugi cards because you're going to link away your Herald and then add it back and then summon it for your end board. So that's it for like the Synchros and the Yummy part of the deck. Then the other links, you play a couple more links in this version than like a regular Yummy deck because the Mitsurugi monsters just give you so many bodies. IP, SP, Dynamundo. This is one of the flex spots, but I'm going to be honest, I summoned this card like 5 or 6 times. This card was very good, and it wasn't originally the card that was in my deck, but I'm very happy that I played it. And then the last link is Gravity Controller. You need this to like bridge with your combos. And 1 Zombie Vampire for the Mitsu cards to bridge into Yummy sometime. And then 2 Super Poly targets, Guru Mud Dragon. I didn't play a Super Poly target for Draco Tail. I didn't think that the card was even worth keeping in against Draco Tail, so yeah. For the side deck, it's 3 copies of Retaliating Sea. I had to give them back, but I played 3 copies of Retaliating Sea. For Dracotail, I drew the card 0 times. Against both my Dracotail losses, I did not draw Retaliating Sea. I wish I would have. Maybe I would have been in top 8. 3 copies of D-Bear. I really wanted to play this card. I feel like this is probably the best go first card right now. It hits all the top decks. It's just really good. Then the other 3 go first cards I played was 1 copy of Purification for the Mitsu engine, 1 Solemn Judgment, yeah, it's broken, and then 1 copy of a Croaky. So this was something that I stole. I did not think of this. I think I saw it in Sako's deck list and I stole it. But like, it's actually really broken because like one of the issues with this deck is like after the first turn, your Yummy engine is really bad because you have no grind game because you only play the 1 field spell. But like post side, when you're like putting in more engine, is like what other engine card would you put in other than in a Croaky? So like cycle the field spells, it gives you more disruption, so it makes your end board better and more resilient to board breakers, and it allows you to put the minion in the graveyard to shuffle back resources. So this was like a really broken go first card. Then for the rest of the side, for going second, 3 copies of Storm Duster, just generic good go second cards, and then last 3 cards, 3 copies of Dark Ruler. This was for all the nonsense decks, Mitsurugi, Yummy, Mitsu Yummy, all the nonsense decks you put in 3 copies of Dark Ruler. I drew it a couple times. I wish I drew it more. Yeah, this was the deck. I think the deck was really good. I got a card trooper and a pack of sleeves. But yeah, boys.
And a playmat.
And a playmat, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this profile, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.